YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back on the battlefields of Total War Warhammer 2 with a question. What is more disgusting than a hell pit abomination? Well, obviously there's only one answer to that. It's a hell pit abomination moving in slow motion across your screen. Air, why do you do this to us? Well, it's because we've got a battle with the Skaven. They are led by Lord Skrolk, and he's got a pretty infantry-heavy Vermintide coming up against Chaos, led by Sartharel the Everchicken. You can kind of see him out there. Let's jump into the battle. Alright, let's check out the armies real quick before we get into the fight. We'll start with Sartharel. Here he is, leading up 3 Chaos Marauders. Behind them we have an aspiring champion, 1 Chaos Warrior, another warrior with halberds, and the Mirror Guard. There's also an exalted hero, and then over here a weird spawn. So some tough units on each flank to try and hold up morale and keep the Skaven beat down. The weird spawn has this Sundered, which takes away armor for 10 seconds upon hitting. We've got 2 Chaos Chariots, a Warhound, and the Swords of Chaos, which is a Regiment of Renown cavalry unit. For Skaven, we've got a Storm Vermin with halberd on either flank. Up front, there is a Skaven Slave Spear on the flanks, and then in the middle, 2 Clan Rats. We've got 2 Storm Vermin with halberd, one of which contains Skrolk, the other a Warlock Engineer, and we'll talk about the Warlock Engineer momentarily. We've got some Death Runners here. This is an anti-armor infantry that can sunder armor, but very squishy, albeit fast-moving, and they have stalk. And then with the Plague Monks, these Plague Monk Sensor Bears have magical attacks, a huge armor-piercing damage, but again, extremely squishy. So keep that in mind as we get through this fight. There's also a Skaven Slave Slinger and a Poison Wind Globadier, which is a short-range missile unit with heavy armor-piercing and anti-large focus. Again, limited range. There's the Hell Pit Abomination. Let's get things into regular speed here. Sartharel is going to kick things off by squishing some Skaven slaves. This is the type of play that you have come to expect from Sartharel. He is the Everchicken. Sometimes he gets crispy fried. Ooh, look at that. Poison Wind Globadiers, I mean, it literally looks like Skaven fart in a glass globe and then put it in a sling and sling it at you. And the only thing that could be worse than that is this disgusting Hell Pit Abomination back here. Ooh. Don't blame Sartharel for running away from that one. Chariots, definitely a bane of Skaven. Skaven has low leadership infantry that doesn't have great mass. So you're going to see chariots cause immense damage to them on many occasions, though this chariot does catch the wrath of these Poison Wind Globadiers. At least here in a moment, it gets the full wrath of them. You can see them dying a little. Skrolk is doing this Blessed with Filth and doing quite a bit of damage to the units around him. You can see over here on this this flank, Chaos is completely overwhelming Skaven. The Mirror Guard combining with Marauders and the Exalted Hero. The Chariots have now broken through a line. Sartharel is causing all kinds of problems. And the Swords of Chaos have plowed home over here on some slaves and should easily defeat them. Now look at the damage here. The Poison Wind Globadiers are extremely effective against these large units. The problem is with Skaven, it's very hard to keep these guys safe, and they have to be so close to an enemy to fire that it usually spells disaster. Now that Warlock Engineer I mentioned earlier, let's put it in slow motion and let you check out something here. Let's pick these aspiring champions. You can see over here this Warpstone armor, which is basically kind of a Mortis Engine effect. So the Skaven player has effectively set up a blob here that will be bleeding hit points off of the Chaos player. So this blob is actually somewhat in his favor. Pull in all these expensive Chaos units and suck the life out of them. And then Skrolk might be able to help do some damage along the way. We got some regrouped Skaven units coming back into the fight, and you can see the Warhounds here charging in to try and help pin down anything they can, but right now this battle looking pretty good for Chaos. Lots of Skaven units on the way. The Poison Wind Globadiers are not free to do what they need to do, and the expensive units of the Skaven are pinned up over here in one spot, being attacked by lots of big, bad Chaos units, but here the aspiring champions and the warriors with halberds actually start to go down. But Skrolk and his Warlock Engineer continue to do some really nice work here. On the right flank of the Skaven army, Chaos has completely crumbled through. You see these heavy infantry and these heavy cavalry, far more than a match than the lightly armored even heavily armored Skaven infantry. I say heavily, kind of high, not heavy, but here comes those victorious Chaos Warriors and other units to join in the center. You can see the weird spawn got absolutely wrecked by the Hell Pit Abomination. Not a big surprise. This thing is an anti-large beast of disgusting proportions. Just look at this awful thing. Ugh, it's just terrible. I don't know about the rest of you, but it is just awful to look at. In any case, Chaos continues to plow in here. They've got the Mirror Guard. They've got the Warriors. Sarthrel's going to come over. You can see that a lot of Skaven units being chased all over the battlefield. And what's beginning to look like a potential defeat here for the Skaven. Just zoom up here and get you some good shots. You can see Skrolk and this Warlock Engineer. Now, don't forget a couple of important things here. One, the Hell Pit Abomination regenerates. It's going to give it the ability to tank this fight longer. With regeneration, it is weak to fire damage. And there is a fire damage unit nearby in the Swords of Chaos. Check out this cool vortex spell here, Plague. You don't see this all the time from Skrolk. And he's unleashed it on a lot of Chaos Infantry, and it did some pretty solid damage. So you can see the Chaos Infantry actually starting to reel a little bit under the constant wither of the Warpstone armor, and Skrolk being able to be Skrolk. He is pretty tanky, and then top that off with a nice little touch of Hell Pit Abomination sprinkled on top. You can understand why the Chaos Warriors, who may have thought that they had an easy wrap-up here, are finding themselves embroiled in much more of a battle than they would like right now. Yeah, Sarthrel's gonna wish he had those fart globes back from earlier, because he's not in a happy place in life. And I think the Chaos player might have lost track of him, maybe trying to micro elsewhere. Fortunately for Sarthrel, the Swords of Chaos are providing the Guardian effect, which actually gives him some physical resistance in their presence, and may have been the only thing that saved him from the Hell Pit Abomination here. But those Swords of Chaos are also trapped with the Hell Pit Abomination. That is, if it wanted to fight them. It does not. This thing wants a piece of Sarthrel. Looks like he actually kind of landed a hit there. He did. Sarthrel down to 531 hit points. And I could have sworn he did land another hit. So now down to 71 hit points. But, and I do mean but, check out this Exalted Hero. What is he doing on the business end of a Hell Pit Abomination? Well, he's chasing it. He was trying to save Sarthrel. But I mean, if there's anything worse than facing a Hell Pit Abomination, it's facing the disgusting end of a Hell Pit Abomination. And this guy's just going in full bore like some kind of crazy veterinary proctologist here. Ooh. Tell you what, man, that guy's braver than me. You can see that the Hell Pit Abomination is all focused on the chariot, while our proctologist proctologist vet back here is examining the Hell Pit Abomination. And right now he's learning all about this tail whipping attack, which I've never seen before, but again is quite vile and revolting and across multiple levels. So he's going to be tail whipped to death by a Hell Pit Abomination quite easily. Yeah, that's not a fight you should have been in, buddy. Not a fight you should have been in. But look at the field here. Skrolk and his Warlock Engineer are barely holding on to disgusting pestilent life. They're not going to last much longer. And can the Hell Pit Abomination survive the leadership hit that's going to be caused by this? So you can see them trying to beat down the Skaven leadership, and quite successfully, might I add right now. Those are some tough units that Skrolk got locked in there with. Would not be an easy fight to pull himself out of, and you can see that indeed he does rout, and he's very near dead. And the Warlock Engineer runs off, also near death. And let's watch the Chaos Army here. So I think there's something critical happening. Let's take a look at it. Taking a look at the units on the screen that you see right now, what is it that you would say about the Chaos player? Oh, you might be thinking, oh, he's smart. He's going to go knock out Skrolk, and the leadership could potentially rout the Hell Pit Abomination. However, I have a different take on this particular moment, though I could be wrong because I'm not perfect with online play, but the Hell Pit Abomination regenerates. and it's regenerating hit points right now because nothing's taking hit points away from it. So by chasing an 81 hit point Skrolk, who's sure to die the instant he comes back, if he comes back, the Hell Pit Abomination, however, is being given the opportunity to replace hit points when every piece of this Chaos Army needs to be thrown at it immediately to try and kill it, because it's only getting stronger every second that he does not. You can see Chaos does think about this with its Warhounds, but again, this is kind of a half effort here, not a full effort. These Marauders and these Warhounds will be quickly torn asunder by this vile Hell Pit Abomination. Even with the Wither in place, that's not going to be near enough to do the damage that needs to be done, especially considering this thing's going to be replenishing, and it terrorizes everything nearby, so you can see many of the Chaos just fleeing at its presence, and the leadership of Chaos that was much needed in that fight is not present. There was some damage done to the Hell Pit Abomination, but not enough, because not all of the units were present. So as we see now, the Hell Pit Abomination, the Chaos is obviously avoiding it, because so many of its units got routed in that first attempt, and now, here it is, having the opportunity to heal yet even more. So definitely not where Chaos wanted to be here. I'm going to fast forward and show you that Chaos now has to try and regroup everything they have, but the Hell Pit Abomination just grows stronger. It's going to be back over 2,000 hit points here shortly. The Chaos has gathered together a decent force, and we'll see how that force is used. There's some infantry. There could perhaps be enough magic to wither the Hell Pit Abomination again, which could be clutch. These Slave Slingers, Chaos did not want them on the battlefield, so they're going to quickly charge in with the Warhounds, but then this leaves the Warhounds in a position to be terror-routed by the Hell Pit Abomination, and indeed that's what happens. The Chariot pulls out at the last moment. Smart move. So Chaos did not get all of their troops together for this final assault. The Mirror Guard is barely holding together. We got a couple of Marauders, and then Sarthrel. Sarthrel's only chance here is to cycle charge the Daylights out of this Hell Pit Abomination, which just took a charge from the Chariot, and there is the Plague of Rust. I think I said Wither earlier, but I meant Plague of Rust. Sarthrel somehow does not get killed by that first hit, and he's able to move out for another charge. Let's watch this. The Warhounds are back. Plague of Rust is taking a toll. Here comes the Warhounds. A lot more damage going to be done. Sarthrel comes around for another charge and gets massive damage done. So at this point it becomes very close. But the Hell Pit Abomination lands a killing blow on the Ever-Chicken, and he is now finger-licked with 11 disgusting herbs and spices off of the Hell Pit Abomination, who then, in no surprise, routs the remainder of the Chaos troops, who are not happy about their leader having become extra crispy, or in this case, extra corpsey. Ooh, the lame jokes, folks. I've tried to be on point tonight. Anyway, you can see that it's pretty much just all going to wrap down here, and Chaos is going to squeak out an epically close victory. More lame jokes. You guys just had it coming tonight. Hope you enjoyed those, by the way. You know, I try so hard to get jokes that I know will make you cringe. Anyway, here's Obnoxious Potato. Thank you for submitting, and Popcorn 10, thank you for playing. If we take a look at these two armies, I mean, Chaos managed to get a lot of kills. They did a lot of work. Of course, most people do get a lot of kills versus Skaven because they have so much meat shield throwaway units. Skrolk doing a good job of tanking, as did the Warlock Engineer. Pretty impressive performance, but not so impressive from the Chaos Infantry. These guys just stink, and it's a big reason why Chaos stinks. Or, sorry, Chaos Skaven. Chaos, yeah, they don't stink anymore. They used to. In any case, yeah, that's one of the reasons why Skaven stinks. They need a little love, in my opinion, in order to bring them up to the level of some of the other factions. Are they good if you're a good player? Sure. But, I mean, I think if two players are equal, the Skaven are probably one of the worst factions in the game from a multiplayer standpoint, just in the sense that they have many weaknesses that can be exploited. They do have a few strengths, and those strengths can be used well in the right scenarios, but their infantry being just absolute dog crap is definitely an issue for them, and it kind of makes me wonder whether their infantry should be cheaper, or maybe it should just get a bit of a buff, or maybe you all think neither of the above. I do hope you enjoyed this. If you do, make sure to leave a like. Helps me out a lot. It also makes the Hell Pit Abomination feel better about his wretched stink and disgusting appearance. So again, leave that like if you can. And then if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. If the bad jokes didn't chase you off, you can click the bell and be notified about when the next video comes up, and you can be the first one to cringe in the face of my terrible jokes. I hope to see you all there. I really do. I love making this content. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. See you next time.